Hello, thank you for joining us today for this short presentation focusing on accommodation options and advice available to you. My name is Sinead Cash and I'm the Head of Sales and Service for Warwick Accommodation.
Hello, and my name is Shira Payne and I'm the Student Lettings Manager for the University of Warwick at Warwick Accommodation.
Today we'll be covering the following points with you. Who are Warwick Accommodation? What accommodation options are available to students? And some advice and where to get it before you sign an accommodation contract. What accommodation is available for students through Warwick Accommodation? We'll cover the off-campus options in detail, where we will be introducing Wells Terrace. And Shira will be introducing Warwick Student Pad, which is Warwick Accommodation's new property advertising platform exclusive to Warwick students. At the end of the presentation, we will have some time so that you can ask us questions via the chat function, should you have any. So who are Warwick Accommodation? Well, Warwick Accommodation is the university's dedicated accommodation department. We own and manage around 7,500 rooms for students on campus across 15 halls of residence. We also own and manage a further approximately 140 properties on and local to campus for university staff and students with families. We also now lease 66 beds from a local property owner and act as the landlord to our students in Wells Terrace, Coventry. Finally, we also provide access to an off-campus property portal exclusive to Warwick students, which Shira will take us through later in the presentation.
Warwick Accommodation work closely with the Student Union's Advice Centre, who can support you with independent advice on many matters relating to accommodation, including choosing an agent or landlord, contracts, deposits, and much more. It's important to do your research and seek appropriate advice before signing an accommodation contract. The first thing to remember is that there is no rush. There are plenty of accommodation options available for students. Before signing a contract, we would advise that if you're booking as a group, that you firstly get to know your housemates. You will more than likely be living with these people for the whole of the academic year, if not longer. And so it's important that you can live harmoniously together. We would also advise that it's important for you to do some research on the area that you intend on living in. With over 55,000 students in Coventry across the two universities, there's plenty of student-friendly options. In Coventry, our students tend to live in Cannon Park, Canley and Earlsdon. A bus ride away is the town of Lemington Spa, set in the heart of Warwickshire. A large number of our students choose to live here, and there is a high street with a wide range of shops, lots of restaurants, cafes and bars. Then, a 2-mile cycle from the university is the small yet historic town of Kenilworth, a place where some of our students choose to live or to venture to on their weekends. There are regular bus routes for all of these locations from campus. And finally, it is important to get the right property for you. There is lots to think about here with regards to your own personal needs, budget, likes and dislikes. For example, if you are a larger group wanting to live together and are struggling to find a suitable property that you all agree on, perhaps you could find 2 smaller properties that are within close proximity to each other.
As many of you are aware, most second year students and beyond make the move from campus to off campus, where there are an array of options available for you, including student houses and purpose-built student halls, similar to those on campus that are managed by private accommodation professionals. Warwick Accommodation offers a range of options for current students requiring accommodation for the following academic year. Remaining or moving back to campus halls will be an option for some students who meet the criteria, which I will cover off in a moment. For those students looking for properties in one of the areas local to the university, Warwick Accommodation offers Wells Terrace, a Warwick managed off-campus property for the academic year of 22 to 23. Or students can search for their own properties using Warwick Student Pad, the university's new property search tool. Some of you may be eligible for on-campus accommodation. If you are moving from an undergraduate course to a full-time postgraduate course starting at the beginning of term 1, then you will be able to apply for on-campus accommodation if you are a first-year postgraduate. Although you would not be guaranteed this accommodation, we do usually manage to house over 1,000 postgraduate students on campus every year, and place others within our off-campus lease properties or referring students to our partner providers. We aim to open applications for this in the spring, and we'll contact you closer to the time with more details and dates. If you have specific accommodation requirements, including those based on disability, medical or mental health grounds, you will need to follow the relevant process, which can be accessed via the Warwick Accommodation website, which we'll provide at the end of this presentation.
As mentioned at the start of the presentation, in 2020, Warwick Accommodation announced changes to the off-campus offering. With the growing amount of private student accommodation options available locally, we will no longer be offering students Warwick managed off-campus housing, with the exception of numbers 1 to 8, Wells Terrace. Wells Terrace is in Earlsdon, Coventry. There are 2 9-bed houses and 6 8-bed houses that will become available to book at Wells Terrace. Wells Terrace is currently available to undergraduates and postgraduates, which will be mixed if applying as an individual, or you can apply as a group with others you may want to live with. Internet is also included in the rent. There are a limited number of parking spaces at the rear, and the properties are within close proximity for buses to the university, supermarket and town centre. To remind you, some of the benefits of booking a university managed room at Wells Terrace: no deposit, summer retainer or agent's fees, no rent to pay until the start of your accommodation tenancy, core contents insurance included, and safety checks carried out before you arrive. To book these properties, please visit the Warwick Accommodation website. In June 2021, we launched a new property advertising platform that is exclusively for Warwick students called Warwick Student Pad. Here we advertise properties from local landlords direct to our students. All correspondence for these properties will be between you and the landlord. We will only list properties that we are satisfied meet your requirements in terms of location, quality and safety. We vet the landlord and check their property documentation meets compliance standards. We're always here to help. Although your contract will be with your landlord, we are here to help you too, offering support throughout the year at planned roadshows, surgeries and events. We work closely with the student union to deliver you the best service and advice, and we will also link with the student union's Rate Your Landlord website when launched, so that students can rate their house and landlord to better inform future students on their choices. Warwick Student Pad is accessible for you to use now.
Thank you for listening. We hope that you found this information useful. We'd now like to invite you to ask questions via the chat function, but if you'd like to access more information, please see our website address and contact details on this current slide. Thank you very much.